Welcome. My name is Dan Gallagher and I'm with Spirit and Truth Fellowship International. The title of this teaching is Truth Matters. We believe at Spirit and Truth Fellowship that truth matters, that truth is important. Therefore, we research and teach and try to live out truth because we believe truth matters. There was a while back that I was traveling down the highway and I was listening to a talk show. And in the talk show, a gentleman came on and he made the following statement that really got my attention. He said, "I've come to realize that truth wears many faces, that there is no such thing as the truth. Truth is relative and comes in many forms." I don't believe that's true. I don't believe that truth is relative. I believe opinions are relative, and I believe perspective is relative, and I believe we all have the right to opinions and our own personal perspective. But I believe truth is an entirely different matter. At Spirit and Truth Fellowship International, we research and teach the truth because we do believe it matters. We also believe it's under attack. The very nature of our culture, of the world today, tries to indicate that truth is something that does not exist, or at least cannot be known, or you're wrong if you make any claims to know the truth. In John 18:37, this very same thing came up when Jesus Christ appeared before Pilate, ready to be condemned to death. And Pilate says to him, "You are a king then," said Pilate. Jesus answered, "You are right in saying that I am a king. In fact, for this reason I was born, and for this I came into the truth. And for this reason I came into the world, to testify to the truth. Everyone on the side of truth listens to me." "What is truth?" Pilate answered. And with this he went back out to the Jews. The question, "What is truth?" Pilate asked. I don't believe he said it sarcastically. I don't believe he said it with any contempt in his voice. He's standing there between this man who's called the King of the Jews and these others, the nation of Israel, calling out for this man's death. And Pilate says, "What's truth? Are the Jews right or are you right?" I believe that that's still a question that has reverberated through time. Does truth exist? If it does, what does truth look like? How are we going to recognize it when we're presented with the truth? I think these are questions which are very apropos to every man, woman, and child alive today. You know, consider the example of your car. Does it make a difference if you put gasoline in your car or water? Well, clearly we would never put water in our car. Why? Because it does matter, because water is not a petrochemical which can be used in a combustion engine. See, there's a truth, a very elementary truth concerning that simple example. Truth matters, and it matters to you on a very daily basis. Not any one of us would walk to a building and step out a 10-story, window without understanding the consequences of what would happen because of gravity. We'd smack on the ground unless we have a parachute or we could hang glide down. What I'm saying is that the physical world, by its very nature, testifies to the reality of truth. And you know that truth matters in your daily experiences. Truth also matters in our relationships. Is there a single one of us that would want to be in a relationship with a person that was a liar, that was dishonest, or that was lying, stealing, cheating you? How about the simple fact that when you go into a store that you have to pay for something? Would you just get it and walk out? Why? Because you would be cheating that person. The truth is that you need to pay for those things which are not yours. In the same way, if the clerk handed you the wrong change, it would matter to you. Truth matters. It matters very much, and we know that on an experiential basis. Yet the world is trying to tell us that there is no such thing as truth and that we're wrong to make a claim concerning the truth. We believe that just like Pilate, when he said, "What is the truth?" that we need to search out the truth, that we need to find it. And in order to do that, we are going to have to understand the very characteristics of truth so that we can recognize it when it presents itself. Because it certainly is not possible that if everybody is making claims to have the truth or to understand the truth, if those claims compete or contradict in any way, then we can't all be right. I don't believe that all opinions and all perspectives are necessarily valid. We may all have them, but that doesn't mean that they're all correct or that they're all truthful. How many of us in the world today are really searching for truth? I believe that it's important that if you want to know the truth, you have to seek truth out. God has set up the world in such a way that truth is all around us. The entire creation testifies to truth. Yet, we still have to seek it. We have to search it. In fact, science is all built upon the very premise that truth is discoverable. Men have been put in missiles and sent to the moon to determine what the moon is actually like. We have paid billions of dollars to put a telescope up in space called the Hubble so that we could search out the very farthest realms of the universe. Man in his very heart desires to know truth. Yet sometimes we get deluded or we get confused. We get beaten down and we quit searching. I know that with my grandchildren and my children as I raise them, they are excited to discover things all around them, the world in which they're in, because they're truth seekers in their very heart. I believe God has designed every one of us to be a truth seeker because truth matters. What is truth? If we're going to pursue this, we need to define our terms. After all, that's one of the biggest problems that happens when people try to discuss something. If we're talking on two different levels, we're never going to come to a meeting of the mind. And especially when it comes to truth, we need to define the terms. Just a simple search on your computer is going to reveal to you, if you go to dictionary.com or Wikipedia and you type in truth, you're going to find that it's defined as the actual state of a matter. In other words, it is also what conforms to reality. Truth is that which is real. That's the simple definition of truth. It's just what is real. If I say the sun is bright today, yet it's cloudy, that's not truth. So what I say is truthful when it corresponds to reality. We all know that. That's why when we're in relationships, relationships must be founded upon truth, or there will be no trust. If a person is not trustworthy, it generally is because, to some degree, truth is not showing up in that relationship. As I mentioned, science is based upon the search for truth. What's at the top of the mountain? What's on the other side of the sea? The discoveries by Columbus and Galileo and all of these men were because they were searching for truth. I believe that we're still searching for truth, but I believe that sometimes the issues get clouded. How about truth when it comes to the spiritual realm, spiritual matters? What happens when you die? Is there life after death? Does God exist? And if God exists, what's He really like? Can you imagine? Just think about that for a second. Those are serious questions with serious potential consequences. That's why truth matters. And I believe just as we know it experientially in the physical world, from a spiritual standpoint, the implications are even more immense and broad. What religion is correct? Are all religious positions valid? You know, that's a very good question for a person that's a truth seeker. Why is there evil in the world? Where does evil come from? What's the source of evil? I mean, these are questions that I think as truth seekers we need to really look and find out. If God does exist, why doesn't He just eliminate evil? What is the Holy Spirit? Does a person need to be baptized in water or not? And how do you get saved? What does that really even mean? These are questions that are very important for any person who is a genuine truth seeker. I believe just as gas in my car matters because water won't work, truth matters. Spirit and Truth is dedicated to researching, seeking, teaching, and promoting the truth. I invite you, if you are a truth seeker, come and join with us on this journey.
Sometimes my feet don't wanna